Good afternoon. Welcome from Glenwood Lutheran Church. My name is Pastor Mark Manning, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Last week, as I prepared a video piece for you, it talked about the history a little bit of putting ashes on our forehead because it was Ash Wednesday. And this week, I'd like to continue it's going to be a series of presentations about Lent and the rituals that we participate in. The one I'd like to talk about today is the ritual that many of us are familiar with, and that is the ritual or the tradition of giving up something, or abstinence, or fasting. There's different ways of thinking about it. Now, as I said, there's different ways of thinking about it. Often we focus on a thing or some practice that we're going to do. A little bit. It's a little bit like a New Year's resolution where we think about something that is negative and we try to do better, at least as long as we can. And the best part about Lent is we know it's only going to last 40 days, not forever. Well, in the medieval church, of course, there was a variety of things that people could give up or were forced to give up. Or in the Orthodox tradition, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, giving up something, abstinence, fasting, has sort of a different context. And let me explain it to you, and we can think about it together, and you can maybe think about it in terms of your own life. Lent was seen as a time to return to normal. That's far different from how we view it in Western Christianity so often. We think about it as a special time apart from the rest of the year. But in Eastern Orthodox Christianity, it was a time to return to normal. Let me explain. Let's say that your thing that you're going to give up for Lent is say chocolate or liquor, hard. We'll say hard alcohol for Lent. Now, we think of that in terms of what we're going to give up. In the Eastern Orthodox way of thinking, the question really isn't, okay, what shall I give up? But rather, the question is, or the thought behind it is, why are you eating so much chocolate? Why are you drinking so much? This will be a time when you can move away from a life of excess to a more normal way. Interesting way of thinking, right? We go to church more often, at least that's the way we feel when we have these Wednesday night worship services. But in Eastern Orthodox way of thinking, we're not really going to church more often. What we're doing is we're returning to a more normal practice of going to church every week. We're returning to a more normal life of slowing down, cutting out some things. Now, this is where, of course, as extremely busy, distracted, multitasking Westerners, we maybe start to nod our heads and go, "Oh yeah, that is something I need to do." That would in my life, I would like for that to be normal. Less busyness, less running around, less feeling isolated from people, being more connected, being more present in the moment, having a better sense of myself rather than constantly looking out around me and comparing myself to people, as I've said before, who just frankly don't care. And so as you think about what you might have already made a vow to give up or cut out of your life. The Eastern Orthodox tradition urges us to think this way. Don't think of what you're going to give up for 40 days. Think about what you can give up and return to normal for the rest of your life. What is it that you can cut out? What excess? What extra? What sort of thing that is taking you away from God and others can you leave behind so that you can live a more normal life, a quieter life, a more present life, more spiritual life? And in Lent, then, you can understand maybe more truly and fully what the spirituality of Lent is. Return to God, people. Return in this practice which doesn't take away things, but rather